All right, you guys, supermodel Naomi Campbell recently opened up to The Guardian about her experiences, in the modeling industry. In the interview, she said she actually had to turn down a large amount of money to participate in an all-black fashion show. Interesting. She felt it would have been hypocritical, given how outspoken she's been on balanced inclusion, and doing an all-black fashion show wouldn't have represented that. So, ladies, what are your thoughts on that?
Interesting.
I know, right?
Why can't she do both?
That was my...
Exactly.
I'm like, why?
Ding, ding, ding.
You know, it's been a long time since, I know that she's had to work her way and crawl her way into, an industry that's really bad. You know who does it really well, though? I have to give a shout out to Rihanna and her Fenty Beauty.
Yes.
Her fashion shows, they're like all colors, all sizes. That's the way you do it. But also, there is something to be said by having these type of shows that are just kind of focused on different people. Like, I would love to see, there've been all Asian shows or all Hispanic shows to celebrate that particular culture. I don't see a problem with that.
It's not exclusion, it's just a celebration of. But I'm sure you guys have heard this question before where people are like, BET, that sounds crazy, or only black whatever, because they're like, imagine if we had a show or a station that was white entertainment television. And the answer to that, as I'm sure you're about to say, you're like, well, that's ABC, CBS, NBC, if we're being honest, that the reason why those platforms were created was because they didn't have an outlet for them. And until there is actual equality, there will continue to be things that specifically celebrate those that have been oppressed, those that have not been able to be on television, those that did not have their own networks. So I'm for both. I'm for inclusivity. I think what we do here is incredible. When the show first started, people were like, that show's not gonna work. You don't have a white girl. They literally would be like, we're like, well, what does that even mean? Like, why is that a problem?
They still say it in the comments. Like, why is it a white girl? It would be a much better show if it was a white girl. We have a white girl. She's just behind this camera. It's our EP, Rachel Biskowitz. You don't get no whiter than Rachel. You don't get no whiter than that one right there. The blonde hair, everything. And she's a wonderful person.
And a great Midwest gal.
I agree with you 100%, Adrian. I mean, I like the idea of balanced inclusion, but the reality is we don't have that everywhere, and that's the reason why there has to be all black fashion shows. So why couldn't she maybe feel honored, be the trailblazer in that show to help other black models, get to where she is?
She has been one of the biggest trailblazers in the high fashion world. I just think it would be great to see her do both.
Yeah, I agree with you guys, because I struggled too with why Naomi would choose that. And then I thought about her time. I was so obsessed with the supermodels, like each of them standing on different ways. And when she came out, it was like Cindy Crawford and Yasmin Gowrie and then Beverly Johnson and Alec Weck. Iman, like people that were really signature in their look. But the problem is, we shouldn't have just one of that category. There are so many beautiful faces and so many beautiful types that I was upset because I thought that her staying out of it actually didn't bring the attention that all these amazing models should have in an underrepresented
Well, that's even
industry.
like in stand-up comedy. We are now tending to do, I just joined this tour. We've been doing it for a couple years. It's called Ladies Night Out Comedy Tour, where it's all women.
We came to see you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Microsoft Theater here in LA. You were amazing.
But it's important because stand-up comedy has always been male-dominated. And it's usually maybe all males or maybe one female. But the thing that I want to say, how I correlated with Naomi, is that she has a name. So when you see that name, that's
brings
attention to it. So even like with me, it's like Nene Leakes and myself. And the other girls are well known. You know Sherry and things like that. But every day, or people that you need to have a lead. And that's the reason why it's important to support those types of things. So,
absolutely. Well, I want to also get your guys' opinion on something else that's being really speculated. So Omarion has finally spoke out about his ex, April Jones. What's wrong, y'all?
There was talk about this.
So April Jones, his ex, is dating his friend and his bandmate, Lil Fizz. And he said on Vlad TV himself, I don't feel no ways. I don't feel any way about it. I think that if they're happy, then they should be happy, which is a really mature statement. Now, April and Omarion, if you didn't know, they have 2 kids together. But I was interested to know, like, what do you ladies feel about Omarion being unbothered about his ex?
I don't believe that.
You don't?
Really?
No, I don't believe that. He's saying that because he needs to say that. But believe me, if you that's like your bandmate is like your brother. That's like if one of y'all started dating James. You know what I'm saying? It's just
But
don't.
I wouldn't even think about it because there is a girl code. You know?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to break that.
And that's what I'm saying. But he's doing, I believe, the PR move of, you know, because you can look at his eyes and tell he really want to. That interview. Go look at that interview. Go look at that interview.
And as much as I want to say it was a mad mature, and you know me, I always encourage people to be mature in their past relationships. But just picture like walking past Crafty and your girl is sitting on your boy's lap and you got to look the other way at the Cheetos. Like, it's just
two of
weird.
your kids.
Right, and as to your kids, or if they're making out, like, you can't just be comfortable in your own space where you work.
But maybe, I don't know, maybe he's just trying to justify it or make it work because, you know, he has kids.
Yeah.
And he knows the situation. Or maybe he's past that. Maybe initially, Lonnie, you know, he was pissed, throwing things or whatever. And now he's like, well, I mean, I got to give up. I mean, obviously it's happened. You know, what am I going to do now? You see, he has to put on a mature, responsible face for his children.
No, I'm going to say I agree and disagree, but I mainly disagree because I think there comes a point in time where you guys, maybe he doesn't love her. Maybe he doesn't love her. Maybe he didn't feel that way. You ever just really not been into somebody anymore and been like, Kanye shrug? All right, have fun with that. Like, he was with her for a minute. They have 2 children. Clearly, he has experienced her.
I agree with you. I mean,
and maybe...
Experienced her.
I'm just saying, not just sexually,
Thrown her out to the pasture.
But,
done.
you know, and maybe he's over it.
Throw her out
well,
to
that's what it sounded like.
No, I'm not saying throw her out to the pasture.
That has 2 kids with a woman, and you're going to sit back and say you don't mind.
I think it depends on the person. I can picture my ex situation. If he was dating one of my friends, I'm so happy that we were able to make it out of a relationship. We knew we were both happy.
My issue is more so the friend.
But if I dated his friend, I know he wouldn't be okay with that. You know what I mean? It depends on the person.
What did you say?
My issue more so would be the friend. I would say the friend is in the wrong.
Or the girl.
Because that's...
The girl, too. It's a million men out here. Why you go for a bandmate?
Lonnie.
Because you're doing that for a reason.
Have you ever been in a situation where you actually saw 2 people's true colors and you said you belong together, vaya con Dios, and enjoy yourself? And you almost feel a sense of relief that, like,
that's what
this.
No, that's not right. That's
no, it's not right.
Comfort. And he even said it in his, you know, because he keeps saying they need to change the narrative.
Because it's hurtful to the
bothers
kids.
him. Yeah.
It's hurtful to the kids. I think that so many people are talking negatively about their mother.
Yes.
I think that's what he's saying. If
And
he
he
doesn't
did
like
state
that they are talking bad about the mom, and that ultimately, when they look back on the internet, because everything on the internet does not go away, they'll see those bad things, and that'll affect them. I want to hear what you guys had to say. I was interested.
Well, what did they have to say?
All right, they got a lot to say. At I Am Yas said, yes, girl code. But if it's really meant to be, and he is her soulmate, then I will let them.
Okay, here
This person's better than y'all? Okay.
No, that's a mad mature place.
They're like, no. At Jocelyn JMNZ said, yes, I would care. It's just downright crazy to see someone who was once yours with someone you could trust, and imagine the combos I would be having, like, oh, he bought you food? Yeah, he does that. Wait, what? At JTill, I was like, food?
They get too into it.
Like, oh, he bought you food?
Some people like specifics. Like, I don't like picturing my ex with my friend making out over by Crafty. I need to go eat too. Now I got to go walk somewhere else. I get what they're saying.
Yeah.
I get this in the sense of, like, the guys are so close that if they shared stories, they'd be like, oh, yeah, I know that about him, too. He does that.
Yeah. Liz was his, I mean, or still is, I don't know, his best friend. Do you see what I'm saying? If it was like they were really, really close.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Because there's a difference. You have best friend, friends, like associates.
And
co-workers. They say that was his best friend.
So your best friend does this to you? That ain't no damn friend, okay? I don't care what nobody says.
I'm with you on that part. I think that's wrong. But I'm with Omarion in the sense of him finding peace and saying, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, he probably found peace, but, you know, wouldn't it have been refreshing in that interview if he would have said, it's messed up what they doing, and I don't like it, and y'all need to break it up. I think it would have been refreshing.
If he really felt that way. If he really felt that way. But if he
you
really
could look at his eyes and tell he felt that way.
No, you could tell that then he feels the narrative is super whack. I'm going to read one last comment. At JTill12 said, friends and family are off limits.
Yeah.
I'll end it with that.
Yeah. Okay, another relationship we're talking about today. 38-year-old Keisha Cole, I love Keisha Cole.
Love her.
And her 28-year-old man, Nico, were recently on Nick Cannon's radio show. And,
23.
yeah, he's 23. Yeah, I like him young, too.
He's young.
It's easy to take care of young men. You give them an Xbox and a juice box.
Oh, my God.
So, now look, she was on a radio show with the man. Nick Cannon says that he called her Nico's elder. Do we have a clip of that?
Do we have the clip?
Okay. Go ahead.
Pretty much he was comparing it to Mariah Carey, and he was saying that Mariah Carey was his elder.
No, she said she.
And then he said, like, you're his elder.
Right.
And she was like, I ain't no elder.
Right. And she really did
get
get
defensive.
upset. Yeah, she got defensive. To me, it was insulting to sit there. She's there doing an interview with her boyfriend. I don't care how old he is. And then you come talking about, yeah, you know, you being his elder. Well, why we got to do that? We don't do that to men. And so, I'm throwing it out to y'all. How y'all feel about it?
And sometimes the label, however it means to you, at the end of the day, if it offends you, then it's not my right to label you as something that you find offensive.
Exactly.
Correct.
You know what I mean? That was the part that was disrespectful.
That he kept saying it.
But I do understand that elder does mean you're older. I mean, you know, when I meet somebody, and if I'm older than you, and you consider myself older, it just is what it is.
Lonnie's not my elder.
Elder to me is when you in church.
Yes, that's how elder.
But see, you're
it's like a level of respect.
You're getting your feels into it. And elder technically means they're older than you.
That's
Don't
the definition
I
in
agree with
Webster's,
you,
but that's
Jeannie.
not the feeling.
It depends
know,
on
but
how
that's
you
your
use it in context. So I agree with you. Because people have actually said, Tamira, you're the eldest. That's using it as an adjective.
Yeah.
Tamira, you're the eldest of your sister.
Same.
I didn't get in my feelings. I'm like, yeah, I'm a whole 2 minutes older than Tia. That's okay. You know?
But I see sometimes younger fans will come up to me like, oh my God, you're like my sister. And I'm like, yeah, I'm your elder, girl. You better respect what I gotta say. I don't think there's a problem with that. And I think we shouldn't take away the wisdom and the power that is in the word elder.
You're
poking fun at yourself saying that versus someone coming up to you and saying, you know you're an elder. You might be like, I don't know about... It's the same way how you like being cousin Jeannie and not Auntie Jeannie.
Right.
Yes, but that's a different thing. It's not because of age. It's because cousin Jeannie doesn't have the same responsibility as auntie.
That's literally exactly what we're saying about elder. It's not about age. People view elder as like someone much older that you respect, that you have to, like, you can't say bad words of him. Like, there's a certain stigma that elder has that almost, it doesn't always hold a positive.
And when you're talking about a relationship,
I see it as wise. No, I see it as
you don't want
wise.
to date an elder.
Right. That's when you're talking about a relationship.
Adam is 48.
That's like if somebody says the elderly.
Right.
Now, elderly is something completely different.
But yours,
elderly.
and I don't like that you're putting down
adjective.
like, the word. It's not a bad word.
It's not a bad word, but I wouldn't want to be an elder in my relationship.
And that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about.
See,
And
that
she got
wouldn't bother
upset.
me. It wouldn't bother me because it is what it is.
Because you're not an elder in your relationship. That's the thing. You know, she's already fighting the fact that she had a baby with this man. She just wants to have a regular relationship.
And you
she
have
should be allowed.
Or be viewed as equals.
You have to respect. If she is not comfortable with the word, she has the last say with what we call
But he was doing
that
to be. He was doing that to be funny. That's what I'm saying, and we have to stop.
So it's
doing
his
that.
motive behind the word for
that's
saying,
the
which
problem.
is
not okay.
Exactly.